Morals versus money, which one are you going to choose? So we're doing that, ladies and gents. It has been a killer over the last week, 2 weeks, month. Man, if you want to know how well my week is going, I'm drinking Monster on a Saturday afternoon. That's how well my week is going. Oh, it's been a tough one. Anyway, right, so morals versus money, right? That's the question I asked you when we started. I'll give you a quick rundown of a couple of scenarios I've come across in the last few months, and then you guys can tell me what you think. I obviously know what I think is right and what should be done and how things should be done, but I wanted to get your point of view on it. All right, so scenario one. Yep, you turn up, you've got some massive 2.1 metre high doors, 600 mil wide, they're made out of 22 mil MDF, and the client says, what we're going to do, Chippy's going to come in here and face plant some 9 mil MDF, make them look like shaker doors, or he's going to come in and he's going to route one side out, like a fair chunk of it out, and and then I want you to spray it, right? So you all understand, right, that when you get to a certain size door, you can do the plant-on method and that's fine, but when you get to a certain size door, it's not okay, right? The door's going to warp. It's guaranteed it's going to warp unless you plant on both sides, okay? Same thing as if you just stain one side, same thing as if you just varnish one side, paint one side, whatever. Everything needs to be the same all the way through, right? So do you sit there and say to the customer, bearing in mind they're going to pay you, right, to go and spray this or paint this or decorate it or whatever, do you then say, hey, by the way, I don't know whether that's the best thing for you to do, knowing that you then might lose the job? Or do you just keep your mouth shut, right, and be like, hey, 1,500 quid for spraying everything, job's good and I'll do a runner after that, it's not my problem. Where's the responsibility lie with it, right? So I was having a conversation with an individual and this cropped up and his response was, not my problem. He said, as far as I'm concerned, it's the chippy that's doing the work, it's the chippy that's going to have to deal with the problems. And I was like, no, mate, not being funny, right? As far as I'm concerned, what you're doing there is you're willfully allowing somebody else to ruin somebody else's property so you can make a bit of money. That's the first scenario, right? Which one would you do in there? Would you sit there and say to somebody, and I guess there's three options for this, right? I guess there's three options. Would you keep your mouth shut? Would you say to him, hey, look, there's a problem there and not do the job? Or would you sit there and say, hey, look, I'll do the job, but just so you know, this might be an issue, all right? Because I kind of think the third one's probably the right one to go for, because in this situation, nothing majorly bad is going to happen if the door's warped. And as long as the client is fully aware of what's going to happen and you get it written down in your terms and conditions, because I guarantee you, right, when that door warps, the first thing the chippy's going to say is, it's fine when I left it, weren't it, mate? You know, it's probably the paint that guy's used, probably got loads of water in it or something like that, right? So get everything written down in terms and conditions, do the old, as per our conversation in an email or something like that, just to back you up. But yeah, so I'd probably go for option three. I'd probably say to the client, look, not quite sure if you're aware of this. This might be a problem, might create this sort of problem for you. However, if you're happy to go ahead with it, I'm happy to spray it, but just so everybody's clear with what's going on. Yeah? That's my take on it anyway. So, second scenario. You get asked, and I saw this one on Facebook, this was a doozy, this was. So, we all know it's difficult to make a living at the moment, right? Everybody's trying to undercut everybody. There's so many dodgy cowboys out there that, well, I'm not even going to get into it because it's going to start to stress me out. So, there's lots of dodgy cowboys out there. There was a job where a guy put up on his handyman page where he had done he basically built like a 4 metre by 3 metre shed, outhouse garden thing for this customer. Now, the customer's selling the property, okay? So the customer just wants something nice that looks in the garden. He's not particularly worried about the longevity of the project, all right? What he just wants to make a quick buck and off he goes. Now, so he said to this gentleman, hey, I want you to build me this summer house. So he's gone and cleared the area out, right? Marked it out, pegged it out, taken all the sod off, got it all sorted. And he said to the client, where are we going to dump all this? And the client said, what you can do, dump it in a pile over there, build your framework, right? So build all your joists and that for the floor. And then you can just fill in the joists with all the sod and all the muck and everything like that. Right, so we all know that if you take a piece of, I've got some scrap wood here, if these are your joists, right? That's fine. What we're going to do is maybe we're going to sit it on some pillars, 600 centres, 400 centres, or we're going to backfill this whole area with some type 1, tamp it down, put these on there, maybe stick them on some stones or something like with a little bit of DPC, all that sort of stuff. However, what we're not going to do, right, and we're not going to do this for a very good reason, is fill this area with dirt. Oh wait, right, because that's so friggin' stupid, because what's going to happen is all of this is going to rot through. Now, what the guy said was, not my problem, okay? Because he's just going to sell the house, make a quick buck, and off he goes. He can give two craps, right? And the handyman agreed with that and said, hey, not my issue, right? Not my problem, not my issue. I'm going to lay this down, do exactly what he said, because he's going to give you the money for the job. Now, this sort of work, right, this sort of attitude towards work, really, genuinely does my head in. Because not only does it screw people over, which I think is a disgusting thing to do, mind, it also gives the trade and the people who work in those trades a bad name, right? Because everybody's frigging cowboy. Do you know, the amount of times I see on pricing posts and understanding how to price and hourly rate, labour, you know, your materials, your machining, all this sort of stuff. When I sit down and break it down for people, the amount of times people sit there and say, tradies are always on the take. They're always screwing people over. They're always, and I'm just like, no, we're not. All we want to do is do a good, honest day's work. Majority of us go home and look after our families, right? We want to make some good money, doing hard graft most of the time, I might add, and then go home and spend some time with our family. We don't want to rip people off. We don't want to screw people over. And so these idiots that are doing this, what they're doing is they're screwing us over, right? They're screwing us over because then people are like, I'm going to pay him £30 an hour, £250 a day or whatever. Because all they do is they're always on the take, mate. They're always just trying to screw people over, aren't they? And we're not. So what would you have done in that situation, right? So you're making that shed, mate sits there and says, just backfill it all in between the joists. Would you have done it? Would you have taken the money in the first place? Would you have, really what he should have done was he should have spec'd in the original job what he was going to do with the sod and the dirt and the muck, right? That's what he should have done if he was proper and he knew what he was doing, but then he's a handyman, see? So he's just going to, well, screw everybody over really by the looks of it. But yeah, so what would you have done in that situation? Would you have taken the job on and just kept your mouth shut and just taken your money and done a runner, right? Would you have done the job and been like, nah, mate, I'm going to take that away anyway, you know, just so we know? Or would you, as before, got it written down in terms and conditions or got it written down as per our conversation in the old emails like you do, and then got him to sign off on it? Okay, so in my personal opinion, number 3 is not the right thing to do, okay? Because you are willingly going to do something wrong, right? It's not so much as the guy with the sprayer who's the mate is doing the plant on doors or something, and it's not technically him that's doing the dodgy work. This dude over here is doing bad work, right? And he's screwing somebody over. He's basically thieving, is what he's doing, right? And he's enabling this landlord, this idiot, this arse, to thieve from somebody else, which again I think is disgusting, right? So, anyway, number 1, the option is, what was number 1? So number 1, the option is, I can't remember. So number 1, okay, right. So number 1, what we do is we say to somebody, hey, no, this is a poor job. We're not going to do this. Number 2, we should have spec'd it in really when we did the job spec, and we're going to say, no, thanks, mate. We're going to continue to do the job, but we're going to hoik this off because we've charged for it anyway. So it's not necessarily an issue. We've chucked the skip on there. We're going to chuck on the back of a wagon or whatever on the trailer. Or do you sit there and say, nah, mate, I ain't doing that? Right, so let's go through the options again then, right? So number 1 is not doing the job. Not even going to touch it, mate, because you're just dodge, yeah? Number 2, we're going to sit there and say, yeah, fine, we'll do the job, mate, but this is the price for removing the sod and the muck. We'll get a skip, or we'll put it in the trailer, put it in the truck, whatever, and we'll take it away. And then we're just going to do the job and do it properly, okay? And number 3 is we'll say to him, well, look, you know, we're going to say to you, this shouldn't be done. You're going to say it's okay. We're going to do the old as per our original email or as per our conversation, get it written down, and then you're covered, right? So we'll start from the back then this time. Number 3, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think that's real dodgy, if I'm honest with you. I think, again, in my eyes, that's thieving, right? You're screwing somebody over at the very least, aren't you? Number 2, I don't know. And number 1, you could do, but if you need the money, then you're going to try and do the job. So I'd probably go for number 2, and I'd just be like, hey, this is what we're doing. Then if they accept the job, accept the quote, job's good, right? So this isn't my usual video. Normally I'm talking about woodworking or something like that, but I think everybody's struggling at the moment. I don't know if you've noticed, but everybody is struggling for money. And so this sort of work keeps coming in time and time again. So it's not necessarily, hey, Josh, build me these massive set of driveway gates. It's, hey, can you make this work, right? Can you make it last another 2 years? Can you make it last another 5 years? So we as tradesmen have got to be very, very, very careful. We don't screw ourselves over it, right? So it's very important to get the original spec correct, get everything signed off by the client, get everything written into your terms and conditions, and taking pictures and filing them around your computer. And then if anything does come up in the next like 6 to 12 to 18 months, you've got proof, right? So you're covered, so you know what you're doing, client was aware of the job, everybody's happy. What I don't think we should be doing is I don't think we should be screwing people over, but people are short of money, people do stupid things, don't they? So if you've watched my videos for any amount of time, I'm obviously quite opinionated. I've got a little bit of an opinion with things, And so, yeah, I wanted to have a discussion with you guys, and I genuinely do want to have a discussion with you in the comments. If you drop one below for us, do you think it's the right thing to do? What would you have done in those situations? Do you think those tradies are right? Do you think I'm right? Have you got another suggestion? If you've got another suggestion, by all means note it down. I'm not going to come at you and be all like bull in the china shop with you. I'm genuinely interested, and I like having conversations with people because that's how we all learn, right? And even if I disagree with you, it's important to get your side of the story or your side of opinion, your perspective, I guess, so that then that helps me understand that where my perspective is coming from. It either reinforces my perspective or it sits there and it makes me question it, which again, isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? Being a businessman, being a trader, being a father, being an individual person in this world, I think. So, like I said, not my usual video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Apologies for not being in contact too much just recently, but work is hard, life is hard, and it's just that. What are you going to do? But we've got lots more stuff coming up. If there's anything you'd like me to do a video on, please let me know below. I'm genuinely interested in your comments. If you have liked the video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up because it massively helps. If you haven't, let me know in the comments below again. It's absolutely fine, right? We're all grown-ups, we can have a chat about it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. You'll have a beautiful day, enjoy your weekend, and you take it easy, all right?